Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me once again as we continue studying the topic, the power and influence of environment. This should be the part 3 of the series. In the first and the second video, we've actually covered quite a number of things. And I can remember in the second video, we actually covered what environment is. We looked at the definition of environment, but we also asked a question in the first video, which we answered in the second video. And we discovered that knowledge is the principal thing that sets people apart. Knowledge is the dividing factor. Like I said, two people can be born into the same home, brought up by the same parents, go through life almost identically, but eventually they'll be completely different because of the knowledge that they actually possess. So knowledge is very vital. And we did look at the importance of having knowledge of your environment. So today we shall be continuing on the topic, the power and influence of environment, looking at part 3. Now, before we go, I just want to say something. We should realize the fact that in life, nothing will ever change until we change it. Nothing will ever change until we change it. And we cannot change anything until we first change ourselves. So looking at the topic of environment, if you want anything to change in your life, you must begin to change your environment. So today we shall be looking at the very first type of environment. Remember I said we'll be going through different type of environment and looking at how that environment actually affects our life, our outcome in life, and also our destiny in life. So the first type of environment we shall be looking at today, and that is our physical environment. Our physical environment plays a very big role in our lives, whether we like it or not. Most of the time, we are not even cognizant of the fact that our physical environment has a huge impact on our life. It affects every aspect of our life. It affects our relationship. It affects our productivity. It affects everything around our life and in our lives. As far as we humans remain physical beings and interact with the physical environment, our physical environment will always have an impact in our life. So I'll just go straight to discuss a couple of things concerning our physical environment. The physical environment, what exactly is the physical environment? It's pure and simple, is the physical things in our surroundings. The things that we can see, the things that we can touch, the things that we can feel, the things that we can taste, and the things that we can smell. Those things that our 5 senses can relate to, things that are existing in our physical world that has impact in our lives. I was doing a research and I discovered that the World Health Organization actually said that almost 3 million children under the age of 5 die every year as a result of environmental related causes. And these are physical environmental related causes. So that's to tell you how important environment is. We lose so much because we don't have a firm understanding on the impact that our environment have on us. So today we shall be looking at a couple of things. It's going to be a very brief video. I just want to say I'm not a medical expert in this field, so I don't claim to know everything. But from the little research I've done, the information is out there for anybody to see. We'll be looking at a couple of things that impact us as human beings, that impact our lives within the sphere of our physical environment, and what we can do to actually make life better for us, even as we interact with our physical environment. Now, some of the impact or the effect that our physical environment has on our life, for example, our health. We all know that health is wealth, but you see, what you have in your physical environment affect your health. For example, if you live in a dirty environment, we all know that death can lead to sicknesses and diseases. So if you live in a physical environment that is dirty, then you are prone to diseases. That's one way that our physical environment affects our health. Secondly, it affects our behavior and motivational level. A lot of people don't know that the physical environment in which they live in affects or determines sometimes determine their behaviors and also determines their motivation. Apart from the fact that death, for example, in our physical environment affect our health, our physical environment can also affect our mood. Our mood, you won't believe it, that our mood can be affected by the state of our physical environment. If you live in a very stuffy place and you live in a very tight space, stuffiness and constraint in a space can affect your mood. It can bring down, it can even lead to depression. Have you ever heard of people, I can't remember what it's called now, it's one of these phobia, that they can't stay in a tight or a closed enclosure. That to tell you that closed space is having an impact on them. That is one of the results of a physical environment on the life or well-being of a person. So the physical environment you live in not only determines your health, not only determines your mood, it can also determine your productivity. How productive you are can be determined by your environment. Now, if you walk into an office and everything is scattered, everything is here and there, the pen is here, the paper is here, there's dirt on the floor, how will you feel? It will impact on your level of creativity. It will impact on your level of productivity. But if you walk into an office, everything is well placed, everything is clean, everything is arranged, everything is in order, it impacts on you. It impacts on your level of productivity. So those are some of the things that affects us in our physical environment. Our physical environment can also lead to stress. When you live in a very disorganized environment, like I've mentioned, you live in a place whereby it is difficult for you to find things where they are supposed to be. For example, you live in a house that is so dirty, you live in a house that is so disorganized, you live in a house that is so scattered, you don't know where your shoe is, you don't know where your keys are, you don't know where your wallet is. When it's time for you to go out, you start looking for your keys here and there. It causes stress. Disorganized environment, it causes stress. So those are some of the things that affect us in our physical environment. So if we want to live a life of order, if we want to live a life of productivity, if you want to live a life of creativity, if you want to be in a good mood, if you want to live a healthy life, you must pay attention to your physical environment. Your place must be cleaned. Take the effort to clean your environment, to put it in order, to make sure that everything is in place. I'm just rushing because I don't want to take much of our time. I believe this topic is something that is easily understood and is something that a lot of people should know, and it should be a part and parcel of our life. So what am I saying? Your physical environment has a role to play. It has a role to play in your well-being. We all know that your physical health is very important. And one other thing I want to stress, especially for some of us who are Christians, your body is very important. Remember, the Bible says that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. Your body is the temple of God, right? God needs your body because He has given you an assignment to go and fulfill your purpose on earth. He has given you an assignment to go make disciples. Now, without a good body, without a good state of your body, you will not be able to function. And it means you will not be able to carry out that assignment that God has given to you. So your body, your physical body is very important. And for you to be in a state of physical health, you need a clean, you need a healthy, you need a well-organized environment. So the environment in which you live in is very important. If you're ill and you're sick and you're lying down in the hospital bed, there is no way you'll be able to fulfill the purpose that God has assigned to you. You see, because God has laws and principles that he has set in motion, and his laws and principles he will not break. And if you violate one of those laws, you do yourself harm. If you violate the law and the principle of health, you do yourself harm, and you will never be able to fulfill that which God is asking you to do. That is how important our physical environment is. Now, moving on, let's look at some of the factors that impact on our health. I'll take it very quickly. One of it is the quality of air that you breathe. Now, it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter if you are living in a poor neighborhood or you're living in a rich neighborhood. You should ensure the air in your environment is of quality. Now, I know that for a couple of people who are living in rural communities or who are living in urban areas and it's so congested, it might be difficult. But you see, even in your own room, right, you can ensure that the quality of air that you are breathing is of a good quality. Now, what are the things that can actually impact on the quality of air that we breathe? For example, dust around us, mold. Some people allow mold to just form on their walls in their bathroom and they don't take care of it. But you see, such things can lead to chronic diseases like asthma, like lead to allergies. You understand? So you should ensure that the quality of air that you breathe is of a rich quality. Things like smoke, poor ventilation. You know that we as human beings, we take in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. Now, if your windows are always closed, right, it means you're not allowing fresh air, you're not allowing oxygen to come in. It means the carbon dioxide you've been breathing out is actually taking up the room and is choking the oxygen that is left in the room and is having an adverse effect on your health. Smoke, for example, smoke is from the exhaust of cars. People who smoke and you see them smoke indoors, you are doing a great harm to yourself because it has been identified that smoking is one of the leading causes of cancer. Now, if you are smoking, if you are the type who smoke, I don't advise people to smoke. I don't smoke. I don't see anything good in smoking. But if you are the type who smoke and you are addicted to it, please, when you do, go outside. Don't smoke indoors. I know in some countries, smoking indoors is completely banned. But in some other places, there's no rule, there's no regulation. People smoke indoors. But you see, you are doing yourself more harm. You are doing harm to your loved ones. Because at the end of the day, smoking will do you no good, but to harm you, right? So those are some of the things that hamper on the quality of air that you breathe. What about building sites? For those who work in building sites, building materials, asbestos, plywoods, and all those kind of things, it also affects the quality of air that you breathe. So those are some of the things. Be very cognizant of the quality of air you breathe. What is the second thing that can impact on your health? The quality of water and food you drink. Contaminated water, late contaminated water that can lead to poisoning. Waters in areas that are actually dominated or actually high in maybe crude oil, or people living close to manufacturing plant or petrochemical plant, you actually need to find a way to ensure that the water you are taking is not contaminated. Because contaminated water, for example, can lead to brain diseases, kidney diseases, nervous system diseases, all kinds of diseases. Just go and do your research and you'll find out. So ensure that the quality of water that you're drinking is not contaminated but clean. What are the other things? Processed food. A lot of people eat processed food, junk food. From Monday to Friday, they're either in Mr. Biggs, they're in McDonald's, they're in KFC. They're just eating all this processed food, high in calorie, high in fatty acid, high in so many things that is actually damaging the body. Learn to eat more natural occurring food. Learn to eat and reduce the content of processed food, canned foods. I won't dwell on that. It's something that is well known. What other things affect our health physically? Electromagnetic field exposure And what do I mean by that? I mean anything that generates radio frequency wave. Things like smartphones, computers, iPad, television cables, right? Now with this, in the world that we live in today, there is not much you can do. It's proximity to the source of this frequency wave. The only way you can try and reduce your exposure to the source of this electromagnetic wave is to limit the use of all these electronic devices and to also keep a distance. Now, one habit that I used to have, which was very bad, was I used to sleep with my phone. And I never knew that the proximity of my phone, either to my head, to my chest, is having an adverse effect. These are things that can also lead to cancer. Even the World Health Organization has classified radio frequency field as possibly carcinogenic in nature, meaning they can cause cancer. Keep yourself far from it. For example, if you are carrying your phone, don't put your phone on the breast pocket of your chest because that's where your heart is. So it means the radio frequency wave is going directly to your heart. Don't put for the men, don't put your phone in your pocket very close to your groin, because the exposure of the radio frequency wave is having a adverse effect on you. So put your phones, when you're not using them, far away from you. And if you must use them, but once you finish using them, keep them away. Things like microwave in the kitchen. So many things that we are exposed to. Now moving on, one other cause and one other thing that have an impact. Moving on, one other thing that have an impact on our health is noise, and this is typical in Africa. You're walking down the street, down the shop, people are blasting radio, playing music so loud, cars are humming. These things has adverse effects on our health. One thing you should understand is this, that noise can lead to stress, and in long term they can increase your heart rate. Ask any doctor and they will tell you, and this can have a serious impact on your heart. It can even lead to heart diseases, high blood pressure, and even stroke. The level of noise that you are exposed to, and that's why they call it noise pollution. It can even lead to loss of your hearing. Even noise can lead to confusion. I have a friend who suffers from noise pollution. He can't stand noise. Once an environment is so noisy, he gets confused and he begins to panic. He goes into a panic attack. That is how deadly noise can be. Noise also, excessive noise can lead to sad states. It can lead to you feeling helpless. It can lead to worry. There's so much that noise can do. All I can tell you is that just try as much as possible to avoid noisy areas. Try and be in a quiet environment from time to time, so that all these effects that you go through, all the impact that it has on you, try as much as possible to reduce your exposure to noise, so as to reduce your exposure to the risk that noise has on the human body. Now, finally, before I round up, let's just look at some of the things and changes we can make in our environment that will improve our well-being. And one of the things I've identified here today is connection with nature. So ask yourself, when was the last time you took a walk by the park? When was the last time you took a walk by the seaside in the beach? When was the last time you took a path just along the bush path? I know for those who live in the city, it's always hustle and bustle. You wake up in the morning, you are going to work, you come back in the evening, you repeat the cycle every single day. But you see, one thing you need to realize is that sometimes we just need to take a break. Sometimes we need to take a time out and just go to quiet places and just walk and just interact with nature and just enjoy nature. The grasses, the flowers, the rivers, the ocean. Just allow yourself to just relax in that atmosphere. it has been said that just 5 minutes of contact with nature can reduce stress, can reduce anger, can reduce fear, and can also increase pleasant feeling. That's how powerful nature is. God has given us nature as a gift. Let's exploit it to have a good physical well-being. One other thing we can do is keep our environment and our surrounding clean. Keep it clean, keep it tidy. Let the books be where they are. Let your kitchen be clean. Let the pots, the pan be washed and be kept clean. Things we can also do, keep the air fresh. If you live in a tight space, if you live in a house where there's so much stuffed everywhere, try and use air freshener from time to time. Just keep the air fresh. Things you can do, have a good laugh, socialize with people, laugh, have fun. You understand? And they've also discovered that socializing and laughter reduces stress. It's a good medicine. Laughter, even the Bible says that laughter is a good medicine for us. Some of the things we can also do, reduce the amount of time you spend with electronic devices, and that things like your iPad, things like your computers, things like your phone. And one thing I want to also stress, try as much as possible to break from the habit, if you are engaged in it, of picking your phone the very first thing in the morning. Once you wake up, at least give yourself 30 minutes without touching your phone. Just relax and just serenade, and just, if you're the type that meditate, you just meditate, just show gratitude, and don't touch your phone for the first 30 minutes. Let your brain acclimatize with your environment before you start work for the day, and before you start checking your mails, checking Facebook, checking Instagram. Give yourself time to rest, because overexposure to electronic device is not good for our health. Things you can also do, try and have a quality sleep. Now, I'm not specifying the number of hours, but have as much sleep as your body needs. As much sleep that is healthy for you. As much sleep that will make you be functional in the day when you wake up. Some people are okay with 4-5 hours of sleep. Some are 6, some are 7. But whatever number of hours of sleep that is recommended, whatever amount of hours of sleep that is healthy for you, that will make you functional, please ensure you have good quality sleep. Then also drink a lot of water. Water is good for your health. Drink as much water as you can. I think it is recommended that we should drink, if I can remember, I think about 2 to 4 liters of water every single day. So drink as much water. Your body needs it. Your brain cells need it. Your bloodstreams need it. Drink as much water as you can. And lastly, exercise. Go for regular walks. Go for regular exercise. If you have the money, if you have the cash, register with a gym and try and attend the gym at least 2, 3, 4 times every week. Keep fit. Keep active. Rather than taking the bus all the time, rather than driving all the time, just try and walk. Try and walk, and you see the level of impact that will have on you. So I want to thank you very much for giving me your time and listening to this message today. We are looking at the topic, the power and influence of environment. And today we've covered the first type of environment, and that's our physical environment. So thank you very much. Before I go, I just want to ask that you subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell to receive the notification whenever we post a video. And I also want to ask you to like the channel. Just click on the like button, and if you have any question or any comment, just post it in the comment section. Thank you very much once again. I'll be looking forward to having you in our next video. Thank you. Bye.